everybody. Welcome to our show. I'm very excited to be here today. Um, I missed everybody. We've gone through some things around here. So we haven't been on as our regularly scheduled program, but we're here and we're ready to talk to you guys about empty nesting. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my co-hosts, Sonia and Sharita.
Hello.
And we're going to play a little game today. We thought that, since in honor of one of our favorite shows, Watch What Happens Live.
Yep.
Anytime you hear the phrase women of a certain age or empty nest, take a drink. So we just said both of those words.
We just did. Yep.
So let's get started. As you know, right now it's back to school time. And so Facebook and Instagram, they're all flooded with back to school pictures. First day of school for our kindergartners. First day
All
of last.
them. All of them.
First day of first day of school for high school.
Yes.
Those seniors, right?
Oh yeah. That's good. Yeah.
And then of course, not too many posts about their first day of college, but that's a big deal for women of a certain age.
People taking their kids to college.
Yeah, because
especially freshmen.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're entering into a whole new era in your life when that last child is gone, and then you realize
celebrate.
It's an empty nest. So there's two ways you can think about it, right? On the one hand, it's time to party. It's time to do me. It's time to, have a good time, but it's also a time sort of like depression, because now who do I take care of? Who am I now? A lot of people put a lot of their whole being into raising their children. And I can say firsthand, because our last child, we are a blended family, so we have a whole bunch of kids, okay? So our last child who went off to college, we did pour a lot into him. We went to he did all the sports things. We were all over the state of Texas and all across the nation, actually. And so that was our life for forever. Yep. We didn't take vacation. We didn't really do things that were for us. Everything we did was for him. And so I remember when we dropped him off in school after we did all this shopping for his dorm or whatever, I looked at my husband and we were like, okay, now what are we going to do now? And so it just kind of everything switched. Now we look at each other like, I mean, initially when that first happened, we didn't know what to do with ourselves. We were just like, we had so much time on our hands. And so
watch what you ask for, right?
Yeah. And so it has evolved now because he's been out of school. He's already graduated. Thank the Lord. And so it's evolved into something that feels like very adult, our lifestyle now, right? Because, we get to do what we want when we want. We're not confined by going to a baseball game or going to a football game or having to drop him off. And, those things are not, in our current life. So
and he can drive.
Feels very adult,
Yeah. So you can drink and, the empty nesting part is just all kinds of having a good time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are having a good time. But there were times when I do remember wondering, who am I going to take care of now? Like, why I had gotten accustomed to getting the phone call, Mom, I forgot my lunch money. Can you bring it? Like in college,
Yep. They don't need you.
I have a science project due tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock at night, Yeah. So those things kind of, those things gave you self-worth. And if you put everything in that, and then all of a sudden it's gone, where's your self-worth?
Well, I wouldn't say self-worth. I would say, where is your need to be needed? Or where's your, because you're just so used. Most people are, like you said, their friends that they kind of associate with have more to do with your kids' friends. Because you kind of do things with your kids, and then you meet their parents, and so that kind of forms the nucleus of kind of your group of people that you deal with. If they're in organizations, like you say, if they're playing sports, you meet those parents, and then you kind of form a relationship with them. And if it's not a really close one, and the kids go off to college, then you find yourself, oh, well, I really don't need to call them, or I haven't talked to them, or I haven't seen them in a long time, And so now you gotta, like you say, navigate another path of things to do.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
true.
know what's funny for me is, I guess, listen, I do not profess to be the mother of the year. I don't really like caring for people. Um,
Okay.
but I know a lot of, I feel like I relate because I hear this all the time, but I don't really understand it. Like, so I have, everybody I know, pretty much is a parent, and you have some more than others that cannot even conduct a conversation that is not about their children. And so, to Kaz's point, you do this becomes your identity, to talk about what your kids are doing, what your kids are excelling in, what grade your kid got on this, the trick or treating, the this, every single thing that you communicate about is about your friends. I got so to the point that I didn't want to hear this anymore. Like I said, and I love, and these people will hear this and probably see them. Is she talking about me? But yes, I am talking about you. I got so sick of hearing about people's kids.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. I knew you were going there.
That I went and I made myself a meetup group. And it was very, I actually met I met my neighbor on Meetup. And who's amazing, by the way. Shout out to Nancy. Hey, Nancy.
Oh my God. What was the name of it? What was the name of your group?
So it interestingly,
what was the name of your group?
It was called oh my God, somebody help me with the name. I don't remember, but it's called it was women who like to women who uncorked. It was uncorked. It was about drinking. Uncorked women or unwine or something like that. Some little snazzy face. But I got a lot of people on Meetup, and we used to go out to dinner and drink.
We need to do that
every single week.
Good.
And none of these women ever, because we were about drinking. So none of these women ever talked about kids. And so I had my group. I found a group of women that I related to, that I can escape, because I'm living the life every day. And those who know me know that, my road has not been easy. And I'm probably never going to be an empty nester. That's just what it is.
And me either.
So I don't want to hear about your fucking shit. Like, shut the entire. Okay, I'm sorry, and I haven't even been drinking now.
Oh, we're adults.
Y'all know I love y'all, but and listen, I don't want. And I also feel very, very. The part of me said, when your kids, because if you're successful as a parent, what you are doing is raising your kids to leave you. That is the end game. The end game is for them to leave your nest and to leave your nest and be successful, and not have to call you and ask you, where's my socks, and how do you toast bread, and how do you whatever. If you've done your job, these people are supposed to leave and cleave to families of their own.
That's true.
And some of the mothers that that I have known throughout these decades are going to have a hard time because they have no life outside of their kid, and they have no purpose outside of their kids. And so, I mean, I don't know, I guess they'll be overbearing grandparents, but I'm like, you have to find something that really fulfills you. And so, yeah,
you have to find yourself a hobby. If you didn't have a hobby, you gotta go out. You gotta golf. You gotta play tennis. You gotta play pickleball. You gotta go drink. You gotta go do something. But I hope that those kids, it is gonna be very hard for the women, the moms, to let the kids go. But it also has a lot to do with the kids, because if the kids are like, look, I'm sick of you, lady. Stop calling me. I ain't coming home. Yeah, straight to voicemail. Then they will have no choice but to do that.
And Cassandra, like for people that have boys, I feel even more worried for them, because my grandma said, everybody's grandma said, I'm sure, your girl is your girl for life, your boy is your boy until he takes a wife. I see that all the time too. These sons, they get with their wives, and their wives tell them, this is where we're going to do holiday. This is where we're going here on vacation. And a lot of times it's with her parents.
Yeah.
And so that too, you have to, I'm sure it's very hurtful, and it's very going to be very devastating, but it's all the more reason I encourage women of a certain age to really find your own passion that's outside of your kids, because guess what? Your kids shouldn't be responsible also for your joy. That's a lot of burden to place on kids.
That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, that's a lot. That's not fair. I mean, it's like they didn't sign up for a life sentence to be dragging you around.
Not dragging you around.
Well, eventually
don't
have
drag
to.
me
Somebody
around.
will have to.
No, it's true. No, that's very, very, very true. It is.
And very well said, because a lot of times you don't even realize that you're doing that. Because I can find myself being a little bit of all of that, just because, that's the last child, the youngest child. You have so much hope for him. You pray about it, and you try to equip this kid with everything. You give him all the best advice, and you're like, okay, what else can I do? Like what, and it's just it's a lot. And then all of a sudden
they're gone.
And one of the things that broke my heart, like initially, was I would call him this Negro all the time.
No.
And he would not answer the phone.
Yeah. Look.
Straight to voicemail.
Look, reject. I'll call her later. That's later.
No, his response on the text, I'll call you later.
Yeah,
of course.
Not, hey mom, how are you? Like, all I want.
Hey, is everything okay? No, she don't want anything. I'll call her later.
Nope, that's it. Not unless you're saying, you better call me now. There's something's emergency, or unless you got a password. You've got a whatever password or word that you use.
Don't do any false alarms, because if you say 911 and it's not a 911, they're not answering again.
Nope.
But it happened so many times. It really hurt my feelings. And then that's when I was realizing, you know what? I got to get out of this. This is ridiculous. He's living his life. He's doing the things that he wants to do. They may be wrong, which they were, but he was living his life. I needed to live my own life. Get out of that. And so I learned, initially everybody was like, oh, you're going to be so sad. Cause I was like happy he was gone, because we had some issues. It was like a volatile. We were fighting. And, I can't wait for him to go off to college. And then when he went to college, my first thing was, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? So of course, I, being the helicopter mom that I am, I want to call him every day, 3 or 4 times a day. Nothing. I emailed and texted him.
About you. I'm surprised you did that. I am shocked.
Because I knew what I was putting out into the world. I was actually trying to protect the world from him.
It wasn't for him. It was for the world.
Yes.
It was concern for mankind.
Yes. Poor son. He's like, okay, mom.
Yeah,
Really?
I was crazy initially, but then I mean, I got
Mm.
over it. I found it was a newfound freedom, right? Like,
Wow.
I
I
got to
wonder
go on
how
vacation.
many, yeah, I wonder how many people are going through that right now. School around here just started this week. I know in some of the other ISDs started last week, and then a lot of the kids are just now going back to college, or, the freshmen are starting and they're packing up their cars and you're moving all of their belongings. And, you got to walk past that room every day now because nobody's in there. It's not good. It's going to be
Yeah.
long. Yep.
Yep.
Y'all
Yep.
gonna
So-
be okay.
Yeah.
So how do
Oh,
you
they are.
how do you find your identity? How do you find a passion? How does it have to slap you in the face with this rejection by your kid? Like, because that's what did it for me. Like, what will it take for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna start living my life the way I want to live it. I want to start paying more attention to myself and my husband, because honestly, I paid zero attention to my husband. He paid zero attention to me. We were
Okay.
not. We were fine. It was just this was what
And
this is
that
what
worked.
we wanted. But
Yes.
then we started to realize, you
You do
Oh,
live
you-
here.
you're
Oh,
here?
there is somebody else.
oh, what's your
Oh my
favorite
gosh.
food? Oh, it's nice to meet you. So
Well, it's a
that's-
good thing that you guys like each other, because can you imagine if you hook back up, for lack of a better word, because you've been doing your thing with your kids, and now you got to, come hang back together. And you're like, ooh, what did
Yeah.
Sharita, that's a whole other topic.
I know?
That's
It's
a
real.
whole other topic. Do you know how many couples will be finding out that, hey, you really ain't the one?
Yep.
Like,
You have really changed.
Y'all
You
just
have
been doing
really-
life together, and it's it's been very robotic, or systematic is a better phrase. But then when that system stops,
Yep.
and you're like, oh, well, I have no drop off, I have no pickup, I have no
Wow.
and it's just hello, hi, what your name again?
And what are we going to talk about?
I don't like the way you chew. Have you always
I don't like the way you
scratched
drink water.
so much? Do you even shower? I mean, what I'm making it up. My husband showers. Okay. But
that's
and
true.
so we talk about that a lot too. You really, 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 with my friends, you really have to work on. And for those women who still have, who are not going through the empty nest just yet, you really need to focus on your relationship. Like, it should be the focus all along. Somebody said long ago, and this was a huge debate, that you should one of those questions about who's more important, right?
Oh.
You or your children, you or your kids, or whatever. And
are you more involved with your spouse than the kids, or the opposite? Is that what you mean?
I don't remember what this question was. It was from like it was from a talk show 3 decades ago. But people were so insulted. Might have been Phil Donahue, if I'm really dating myself. But people were so insulted that the experts were saying that, yeah, you're more you should put yourself first.
Yeah.
You come.
Yeah.
But now, there's been different iterations of that. Put on your mask so you can help everybody else's. That's a little bit more palatable for us than saying that I'm more important than my friend, my kid, because that sounds really selfish. But at the end of the day, if you really don't pour into yourself, ain't really a lot of people gonna be pouring into you because they think you're Superwoman anyway, and so they never think that your cup is half empty. It always looks full. But I think that women should really focus on themselves and their relationships, because statistically a lot of relationships do not last the
Yep.
empty nest, because you really you have nothing else to focus on except this person, and you're like, you know what, I don't really care for you too much. As a matter of fact, everything you're doing right now is getting on my nerves.
Where's the kids? When's the kids coming back? When is Junior coming back? Are they on their way back? Yeah.
And that's a very good, I love the way you articulated that. And my mindset was like understanding that somewhat, but I never could really articulate it. But I knew that this new phase in our relationship, me and my husband's relationship, was totally different and totally new. Because we've always had kids. Like, we got married with kids and everybody had kids, a bunch of kids. So we've never been
just
alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so when the last kid left, we had some issues. We had some okay. And because he's golfing like a crazy man, golfing all the time, going out with his buds. And I'm just like, well, what am I supposed to be doing?
Better go find you something to do.
He literally told me, you need to go find a hobby. And I want to fight him.
He was helping you out. He was trying to tell you nicely.
He didn't say it nicely.
You getting on my nerves. I've been around you too long. Go find something to do.
Yeah. So that's approximately during that time period when things were shaky. I said, we probably need to figure out where we are. So we did get, therapy. And then that's when they were like trying to tell us, this is a whole new phase in your life.
Yep.
You now have to start focusing on each other.
Yep. And you better like each other.
What we ended up doing initially was like, he was like, well, I don't have this kid to deal with anymore. I'm gonna go out, because he didn't even want to be in the house. He was always out.
Yep. And
so that was a deal. That was a problem. And then of course I became, well, where you going? Where you been? When you coming back? And what time? Blah blah blah. That drives people away. So,
but have you ever been that person? You've never been that person, have you?
No.
Why do you think that was now at this age?
Because I didn't have
anything to do,
a purpose. I didn't have anybody to mother. So I became
your kid.
His mother. He became my kid.
Well, you are not my mama.
Rich has discovered his and I should say rediscovered his childhood friendships, his friendship. Oh. So he's rekindled a friendship with, and I say with some of them, lifelong friends.
Right.
But this group has become more important to him recently. So they talk about, and they've done trips together. He visits one of his friends who lives in California. Great. We visited them. They've been here. So it's a lot of making plans and whatever. And these things don't include me. Right. And so that's, and when I tell you, there is nothing I love more than an empty house.
I was about to say, how do you feel about that?
I will cancel my plans if I know you going somewhere.
That is exactly what I was going to say. Are you upset?
But
are you happy?
What is so bizarre is I'm encouraging you, please go. Please take a boys trip. Please go. But when he started to do that, I was like, why are you doing that?
Hello.
Because you didn't realize.
What? Look at me. I've always wanted to go to the Essence Fest. Why did you ever He was like, you don't even like music like that. I mean, you never talked about going there a day in your life.
And now you want to go.
He's like, you said you don't even like crowds. You like to go to Bourbon Street on a random Monday. What the heck? He goes like, what are you talking about? But I'm just like, and then, oh my God. And then he said to me, during our last discussion about this friend group, I said, he said, like he had this epiphany. He said, You're jealous.
And I don't want to know what you said. I don't want to know what you said.
I was like,
really
jealous. But then I went and thought about it. I was like,
I am. Kind of am.
I was like, if I really am I? Because here I am. Like, I want you to go. I want you to leave this place and leave me free to be me. Just me, not worried about who has to eat, who has to whatever. Just go. And then when you get the thing that you have been hoping for, you're like,
watch what you asked for. Yep.
Why you keep doing that?
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Don't you want? What do you want to go on? Do you want us to go on vacation?
No.
Trip together? No, not really. But wait. No.
That's why I said you gotta be like, whoa, slow your roll. Well, okay, think about what I'm saying. Oh, okay, it's okay. But you just kind of want them to want you to go, but you want to be able to say, nah, that's okay. I'm gonna stay home. But at least ask me.
And like, not all of his. So he has, so he has a friend who recently widower, right? If you're yes. And then he has another one who's single, divorced, and then he has one's married. Obviously, Rich is married. But so they're not all taking women, and they like to sit around. They FaceTime each other on the Zoom,
really,
and they're drinking and they're smoking cigars and they do it all. So I mean, it's just like he's found himself this thing, which is actually amazing, because the other thing that I think about is he's been so to me, like, under me, that God, what happens if I go first? Like, is this man going to be like hunched over without no, I want him to have a life. And I had to say, like, this is really a good thing. Not only should he have a life and get to enjoy things that he loves that are separate and apart from me, but women too. Like, your kids shouldn't be your life. Your husband shouldn't be your life. You shouldn't be living and breathing for everybody, because we're here together for just a short time.
I know. Hey, how does he act? Is his demeanor, does he seem like a more calm, more happy, more, does he seem
he's
like
always calm and happy, unless I'm rattling him. I'm probably the only person that rattles him, but he is very, very happy. He is you can tell that connecting with this group of guys has given him a lot of joy. And I think I probably was. I'm like, well, I want to give you joy. I'm your joy giver, damn it. But no, I am not. Like, go and please have your joy. So he was talking about a trip, and I've had to check myself. So I'm like, yeah, go on your trip. Can you find somewhere for your son to go on a trip? Can y'all take him with you? Like, introduce him to manhood, so I can be alone. But
exactly.
Yes, and emptiness is a great thing, ladies. If you're lucky enough to get an empty nest, enjoy it. Enjoy it. It is a blessing that you've like reached this milestone in your life. It's something to pat yourself on the back for. Job well done.
Yeah. But what's it's kind of scary too, to think that you reach this milestone in your life, and then all of a sudden you're faced with having to rekindle what you had with your husband, and it's not there. It's not clicking. And then all of a sudden, you've been married 20 years, and now you're going to get a divorce. And people are like, what the hell? Who gets divorced?
And then you're like, and do what?
Yeah, but you don't know. People don't know. They shouldn't know. They shouldn't be in your marriage, and they don't know. And people just assume because it's been 20 years, it's been 20 great years. And that don't necessarily true either. So, you got to do what you got to do.
It happens because people don't know how to be married without children. And
they're not used to it.
Yeah, I've never been married without kids in the house until this last one graduated, and left for college.
Yeah,
so it was brand new.
There's no books. Well, there might be some books. I don't know. I haven't seen any, but
I
There's
bet there's a
nothing
book for
out there.
everything.
I know. That's why I said I haven't seen any, but I'm sure there are things out there to give you tips and, ideas like Sonia's meetup and, golfing and like I said, all those other things. But you've got to be that kind of person. Everybody's not that kind of person either. Some people need people to lead them or to give them a purpose or to give them something to do. You know what I mean? Because not everybody can just go put themselves out there in an uncomfortable. I used to be the person who couldn't. I used to not be able to go out and have dinner by myself.
I love to do that. I've always loved to do that.
Now
I
because
sit
I
in
have
bars
my
by myself.
phone.
People think, oh yes, I love it. I've always loved that.
I used to not be able to do that because before cell phones, I felt like I needed somebody to say something to, but now you got your phone. It's like my friend. Like I can sit there, I can have a drink at the bar. I'm scrolling, I'm catching up on all the Instagram pictures and everything. And so it's very relaxing for me. But before, no ma'am, I could not do that.
I've had to do it for work for so long. It's not even a thing. I don't even think about it. Just go sit down.
Were you like that before?
It didn't even faze me. Like it was just, oh, I'm gonna go have some dinner.
Really?
And then a lot of times I will meet people who are also probably on trips, business trips, and then that's what helped me. Like I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah, no, not anymore. And with work, I didn't either as I started. But as a young adult, 20s, I was just always used to having my girlfriends, my sisters. I always had somebody that somebody's always calling me to go do something. So I never was alone. I never was by myself. But I was like, wow, that just like you said, Sonia, some time to yourself. Love it.
You know what? When we were talking about on the it reminds me of the dating episode. I think you have to do things that are uncomfortable. A lot of people, a lot of women would never take themselves out to dinner. I mean, and it's funny that for us, we're all, the three of us are all cool with doing that. We don't even think about it. I'm hungry. Yeah. I'm not going through the drive-through if what I really want is a wait person to serve me a plate of steak with or whatever and a cocktail.
Something good.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm table for one. How many? Do you see anybody else? Okay. But I used to go to the movies by myself.
Oh, I love that.
I used to just like, I thought nothing about sitting in that dark movie with the popcorn.
Nobody bothering you.
I love doing that. But and I think that people us, not just people, but us women of a certain age, we should do those things that make us feel uncomfortable, because not only is it going to get you out, it's going to get you out of the house, and you're not thinking about the kid whose bed that you don't have to, did you do your project, did you hand in your assignments, you don't have any of that. Why hasn't he called me this week? Why you don't have any of that. Go out and have your life. It's Friday night. What are you rushing home for?
Absolutely.
Like, stop at the bar next to the office and have yourself a drink, or take yourself to dinner. And so it's uncomfortable at first, but then it's awesome. And you start talking to people and you meet people. And and God, if you're single, honey, and you start meeting people,
that's even better.
But you better be single. You should be single. Yeah. Let's make sure we're single, people. We don't want to be out there by ourselves, entering into a new realm, and don't get yourself in trouble. But absolutely.
But you know what you do bring up a good point about, because in that phase where Steve was going out doing his thing, like my friendships were kind of sparse, right? Because I was so involved in my kids' activities. And so building friendships, I think,
it's important,
is a little bit more difficult for women of a certain age, right?
It really is. And you don't want to start over with new people. At least I don't.
Didn't Drake sing a song called No New Friends? Like, it's hard for women of a certain age, because we're already not trusting, probably already been burned.
It is all about trust.
And respect. But I do feel like if you can build friendships, it's important to have those friendships.
Yeah, I think
somebody
we
Sometimes
do.
it's not just about building a friendship. I think people put too much on it.
Yeah.
It's not about going out and finding a confidant and somebody that you're telling all your secrets to about, where all your goodies are hidden and whatever. You're not looking. So, I get the no new friends thing, because you have to keep a little bit of proceed with caution, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But it is nothing for you to find your group. So I love hiking, and I've been doing it alone for the last several weeks. But I did, and so I said to myself, um I'm going to, because my stepdaughter Danielle, who also has an amazing meetup group, and it's very large and whatever. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should go back to Meetup. Is amazing.
Meetup is
And,
amazing.
and so
I met
I
some
said, you
great
know what?
friends.
Maybe I'm gonna go and find a hiking meetup group so that I can discover new places. I've been going back to a familiar place because I know the trails and whatever, but I want to discover different trails, but I don't want to do them alone at first. And so I was like, let me go get a meetup group. Now, when you go on Meetup, it's just about you talking about the moment. You're talking about superficial shit. It's company. You're kind of like-minded because you're there for the same reason or whatever.
Right.
But listen, are we gonna have sleepovers and take vacations together? Maybe, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be that.
I agree. I've met some lifelong friends on Meetup when
And
I first moved to
have,
Dallas.
I have, two people that I will forever be talking to. Well, actually, three that I met in my Meetup group that I am, and that was over 10 years ago. That
mine was over 20.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't. Whoa. Yeah. That's good.
When I first moved here, I didn't hardly know anybody, and I decided to do that, and I started with the book club. Cassandra, you know who that is. And I've been knowing 3 of those people for over 20 years.
Wow. Meetup's been around a long time.
Long time.
And there's a
it's
meetup
really
for
good.
everything.
I've never used it.
People that like to bite their nails. People that like, there's a meetup for everything. That's what's so amazing about anything that you think you could be into.
And if you don't see it, you can start it.
And that's what I did. Because I wanted, and so mine was like, something uncorked women of Bergen County.
I love that. We got to do that, Cassandra. That's going to be fun.
I wanted to be, and I went locally, and we would let's try all of the BYOBs, and we would leave that place up. People with 55 bottles of wine, and we would try all of them, and we.
I love that.
It's amazing, but listen, we're not encouraging you to drink. It's just something I personally like to do.
Get out,
you find something that you're passionate about.
That's right.
Find something you're passionate about, ladies.
Yes, as an empty nester, you will have no choice, because if you don't, you'll be crazy. You'll be lonely. You'll be crazy. You'll drive yourself crazy, and you'll probably drive your spouse crazy.
Your spouse crazy because he's not responsible for your happiness. Like really, and that's the takeaway. And nobody's responsible for your happiness.
That is true. You. That is true. Yeah.
Wow, that's very well said and very true.
Very true. But people don't find it out until later.
I've learned a lot today. One of the things that you hit on was the Meetup. I've never been on there.
Wow. Meetup.com.
And I think I'm going to start something for us.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do some things locally. Sonia, you could do things locally where you are. So, I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah. But this is a very good topic. It's a very relevant topic. It's happening to a lot of people right now. People that we actually know are having to deal with this. And so
because we're all women of a certain age.
Yeah. And we don't take it lightly. It could be a very serious thing if you don't properly navigate, right? So even though we had a lot of fun talking about it, I just really hope that women do find their passion and find, what's important to them, what makes them happy, find their own joy. Don't look to others to fulfill you. Because you're going to find yourself lonely, miserable, and frustrated. And that's no way to live. because now you have this new freedom, you have extra money, like you have things that you haven't had in so long. It's time to find yourself. And so I hope that you take away from this all the things that I just mentioned, because it's very important. And I'm a living example of what not to do, because I did all the wrong things initially.
You don't need to be calling your kids every 5 minutes.
Please
Okay?
don't. Please don't. Give
Okay.
them the room to be
Give them
their
the
own
room.
person.
Yeah.
Let them.
I said I did things the wrong way.
We're
Well,
not
we
talking
want
about
to make
you.
sure that people know not to do any of that.
Yes, not you per se, but those people like you, don't do it.
Yes. And so, but that's just, it's part of it. You don't beat yourself up about it. I did initially, but I mean, it's part of it. You have to let go, cut the
umbilical
strings.
cord.
Yeah, you have to let it go. And I'm happier for it. Our marriage is stronger for it. And I think our kids have really appreciated all the things. I mean, it took a while, but now they realize, you know what? I probably should have called her back. So it's a growing thing, right? All these things are part of it. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching us today. And please leave a comment and tell us your story about how
it'd be
you're
good to hear.
how you're living through this empty nest time period, and give us some tips on what you're doing to cope.
I would love to hear from people and with ideas and tips, so that other people could see, that the other things, just like the meetup, just like the, other things that we kind of put out there as tips. But I'd love to hear what other people have to say or what they've done.
Absolutely. All right, ladies. Well, that concludes another episode. Thank you very much.
Good talk.
I know it. I think we said empty nesting and women of a certain age about 15 times. I lost count.
So what would Andy Cohen say, Kaz? If you've been drinking,
no drinking and driving.
No driving.
No driving. Uber and drink responsibly.
Yes. Thank you. Bye, everybody.